Okay, you may recall, if you look at my newsfeed, I uploaded a video earlier about the Cheektowaga racism incident. This was basically a woman filmed in New York State by a black guy who recorded her racial outbursts against him. And there's been a that's went viral basically already, over 1 million views. This only happened a few days ago, it's already got over 1 million views. But someone on my video made a very interesting link, which was about the local news report. And I'm going to put a link to that in this video so you can check for yourself. And please do, don't just listen to me, check that local news report, because they show a little bit more detail than the initial video. The context doesn't exactly change. The woman is still, she doesn't deny that she used the M-word. She says that she sort of makes excuses for it. She says she was unladylike, and after a bit of procrastination, she says she regrets it. The woman says she suffers from bipolar disorder and she had to speak to a psychiatrist, etc. Now I just want to speak a little bit about the power of social media and how, whether or not it's a good idea to basically create a situation for these things to go viral. Now the guy, in his defense, what he said is he hasn't done it to shitster, he done it because he wants to raise awareness that racism still exists and to educate children. Well, I have mixed views on that. I don't know if it's the most responsible action. I know he would have been probably upset about it and angry, but I don't know if it would have just been better that he reported it to police and left it at that. Because what's happened when something goes viral, you're already getting nutters on there publishing that woman's personal address. This is the problem when you make something viral. The internet is a very it's an ocean, right? And what he's sort of doing is subjecting the world to her stupidity, broadcasting her stupidity, but with that he's also potentially putting her at risk of vigilantism. And I think he also needs to take some responsibility and consider that. There's no question about it, the woman is a racist. And that's it's not a good way to be. It's bigotry. But is it really going to solve anything by creating a situation where you're promoting vigilantism? Now I'm not saying he has said, defend me, go and attack that woman. He's not saying that. In fact, he sounds like an intelligent and responsible person overall. I just don't know if putting this on YouTube is the best solution. I mean, actually the reporter asked him, are you basically not just provoking her by filming her in that way? Regardless of what his position is, there's no justification for the sort of language he uses, but I do wonder, maybe from his perspective, he says he's filming it to show it still exists, and certainly it's pragmatic to film it as evidence, otherwise it's just her word against his, so he is filming it as evidence. But this thing about the he says he sort of reversed or something and that scared her children. That's not his fault if her children happen to be in the way. It's, would she have the same outbursts against a white driver if a white driver scared the children? I don't know. So there's certainly some issues to address. If that woman has bipolar and serious mental health problems, I don't think it necessarily is good for him to be promoting her all over the internet. All he's going to do is make her situation worse. If she is sort of someone who's got serious mental health problems, of course it doesn't justify racism, but at the same hand, it's not going to open her mind. I mean, well, that's one thing I would say to the guy here. If you're trying to enlighten people, if you're trying to open her mind, you're not. If anything, you're only going to make her worse and more agitated. And she'll only go and do it to other black people. So I don't know. I'm really not sure if making this viral is the right idea. Like I say, there's nutters on that thread already are publishing her personal details. For all we know, they've made those details up, and an innocent person is going to be targeted. So I believe with these sort of viral videos, the best source is a primary source. So please check out that local source, the local news, because they interview both sides, they show both sides. That's the fairest way to look at it. I am a little concerned that far too many people are just reacting to the N-word in the video and jumping to conclusions. Now, I'm not saying it would ever justify what she is saying, but I do think it's a little bit reactionary and irresponsible to just jump immediately on what she says rather than looking at the whole situation. And like I said, it doesn't justify what she says, but I don't believe that this sort of vigilanteism is justified either. People are saying she should be arrested. Well, I don't know about arrest. I think she should go to an education course, which is what he said. She needs to know the history of that word, and I agree with him, she should. Before she throws it around, she needs to understand the history of where that word came from. But I'm not sure sending her to jail is the right answer. I mean, as bad as what it is she has done, it's not... She hasn't racially attacked him. You know, it's not like she's beaten the guy up with a gang and in a hate crime. This is verbal harassment with racial overtones. I don't know if that's the same as a hate crime. So, I don't know. But please, if you're watching this video, please check out the local source and then decide for yourself. I personally believe she should still be challenged for what she said. Definitely. But I'm not convinced that he'd done the right thing by making it viral. And I'm not... You might say I'm a hypocrite because I'm putting this out there, but I'm only putting this out there to make people aware that there is a primary source. At the moment, people are just basically taking his side because they've heard the N-word and they're responding emotionally. I think they need to hear both sides, and if this woman does have mental health problems, then she needs help. And vilifying her and sort of... I mean, he says he wants people to be educated. Well, surely then, if he's an open-minded person, he would rise above her stupidity and say, yeah, she needs help. I mean, that's what the question I would have for him. I understand you're upset, but surely you would agree if this woman does have mental health problems, she needs help, she needs education. Now, if you're plastering this all over the internet, is that going to help her? Is it going to educate her? I don't know. So, and this should also be a lesson for future. Anything that goes viral, I really people think need to know both sides and know the whole picture. And I'm not saying I take her side, I don't. I mean, he is right to say it's blatant racism, it is, but if the woman has mental health problems, she may well not be in control of what she's saying. You know, she may... There's a lot of issues to consider here, so... please check out that original news report. I think it's very important.